Good evening, Star Warriors. Welcome back to another episode of Rab and Mooch. This is
Mooch, and this is
Rab. I'm Rab, that is Mooch. In case you haven't watched this before, which you probably haven't, since we only have 5 subscribers.
Right,
but
exactly.
That's okay. We love doing what we do because Star Wars is awesome. Speaking of Star Wars, that's what we do on this show. We, Mooch and Rab, being we, in that order,
precisely.
Talking about Star Wars today on this show, and we'll do that every week, hopefully, for a while.
Right. We've got a lot to talk about,
right.
So...
Well, yes. Okay.
We'll have plenty to talk about later, too. We know that.
Right. So for the first section in the show, we're just going to do news. So in the first part of the news is recently an international trailer, a Japanese trailer for The Force Awakens dropped, and it had some cool new footage in it. So here and new dialogue too. So here is our discussion about that. All right. So the first scene we got here is just Rey standing in front of what looks to be the back. I would say that's big enough to be part of a Superstar Destroyer, but I'm not necessarily sure if that's an engine or not.
Yeah, it looks like an engine to me.
Pretty sure?
Yeah.
You see the staff sticking out of the ground down there?
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything too special in here.
Just different pictures or different shots of her scavenging.
Yeah. All right, and then we got the same shot with the foot of the AT-AT and the ship. Seen this before. Seen her sitting in the shot before. Lucasfilm logo. All right, this
is new.
Yeah, this shot's new. There's nothing really much to it. Just more, Tatooine reminiscent. Except there's only one sun.
Feels like Tatooine, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's Jakku.
Some sort of creatures out here.
Mm-hmm. Look like Jawas.
Yeah. Well, look like it, but I don't know if they are.
Right. Probably not.
Right.
It's Jakku. I think there's going to be different life forms.
All right. This is one of the more significant things when it compares to what we discussed about the original trailer. The dialogue here, when Rey is supposedly talking to BB-8, since this is what is in the trailer, Rey says, "Where do you come from?" So, to me, that then says that it's not her droid.
Oh, yeah, she's asking it, like, where did it come from?
Right.
I didn't even catch that.
So, I'm now thinking that it's probably Poe's.
Okay.
Because then it goes on to say, she responds to it by saying, BB-8 beeps, and she says, "I know all about waiting." So that suggests that BB-8 is waiting on something. So I would say probably Poe, or like a signal of some sort. Maybe Han, maybe?
Maybe.
Since we know they show up later. Any thoughts on that?
No, I didn't. That all went over my head. I didn't even catch that the first time around.
All right.
I've only seen the trailer once.
All right. And then BB-8 beeps again, and Rey says, "For my family." So BB-8, I guess, asked her
what she's waiting for.
And she says, "For my family." So
she's a loner, or she was left.
Right. Or she knows they're coming at some point, and she's just waiting for them. But I wonder who they are.
Dun dun dun. Family's Kylo Ren.
Maybe, but do you still think she's related to Han and Leia? Based on this?
I think so.
Okay.
I think she's Han and Leia's daughter. But I find it odd that Han and Leia would have accidentally misplaced 2 of their children.
Yeah.
They don't seem like the kind of people to just leave their kids. So the more and more we get into it, the more and more I think maybe not. Maybe maybe Han and Leia never had children. Maybe she's not one of theirs. Maybe she's just a loner waiting on some random parents that we'll find out who they are in Episode 8.
But yeah, that could just mean she's waiting for someone to become her family.
Right.
Not waiting on an already
pre-existent family.
Yeah. It's a good way to interpret it. I have a different theory about her lineage, which I'll explain later in the theories and speculation section. So if you want to hear that,
Stick around.
Yeah, stick around for that, or skip ahead if you like. All right. Next shot here is BB-8 rolling out from this tent canopy-looking thing. It seems, we see Finn has already encountered Rey, so this is a little bit farther along to the movie, I would say.
Look, they're coming to the defense of somebody or something.
Yeah, BB-8 sees something. That shot with them under the tent looked more like it was daytime, but then this one
This
here,
is nighttime.
this looks more like sunset.
Yeah.
And then that is reflected when we see this shot, the TIE fighters coming in, when the sun in the sky is lower. So I think the two shots of BB-8 looking
Looking at the TIE fighters.
looking at two different things. One of them's the one right before the TIE fighter shot is BB-8 looking at the TIE fighters, but the one right before it, before that is something else.
Yeah. Looks to me like maybe this is where the attack happens on the farm, or the second wave. I mean, because the village, we've already kind of talked about where we think that.
Yeah, this probably is the
came
village thing, since it's at sunset, and we know the village raid is at night. So this is like right before it.
So what we think now, maybe it's they were there during the nighttime raid, that Finn
Possibly.
and Rey were there,
Maybe
and
like
they
they
just
escaped. Or they saw it from a distance, maybe.
Yeah, and the stormtroopers came back for them later and the next day.
Maybe.
Because we know they've been chased in the streets.
Right.
Interesting. Okay.
All right. I love that shot too.
Oh, I do too.
It almost looks like a painting.
Yeah.
All right. Now onto the Flame Trooper. This is the first time I think we actually see him shooting a flame like pretty outright in like official movie clips.
We've seen one other one.
Okay.
And then we also saw it in the behind-the-scenes footage of how they were shooting.
Okay. Well, this is the most blatant.
Oh yeah, this
is the focus of this shot.
Right. This is by
Trooper.
far the biggest, the biggest flame shot we've had.
Right. And like as the flame shot goes, it's like right now down at the bottom you see like the line coming down, but then when it shifts up to the top, it the line. I don't know. It's something to do with like the way it works and the fuel shooting out of the gun. I'm not sure if that's like on the flamethrowers we have. I don't know if that's how it does or not. I don't know. Just something little I thought was cool. All right, we've seen this shot before with Captain Phasma and Kylo Ren and all the stormtroopers. Okay, and we've seen these shots before with Kylo Ren and the Darth Vader mask, but there's a new piece of dialogue where Kylo says, "I will fulfill our destiny," and then he says, "I will finish what you started." So I still think that's him talking about Vader. He says "our," so that makes me think like he feels like some sort of connection to Vader.
Right. Not necessarily that they've known each other.
Right. All right, moving on.
Oh, the new ignition of the lightsaber.
Right, this is a new shot of seeing the lightsaber ignite. It looks to be inside some sort of like base
Star Destroyer.
Star Destroyer. This might be when he's torturing Poe, since it's inside something that looks Imperial-esque / First Order-esque. And I don't know why else he would be igniting it inside unless he was just threatening someone or torturing someone or showing who's in charge, maybe.
Maybe.
Just to show his power. It's just a different angle on it. Still looks cool. Seen this slash shot before. Seen this before, running from the TIE Fighters. Seen this before with the Falcon, running from the TIE Fighters.
We almost sound like we're getting bored.
Well, it's just, there's new and old shots in this. Okay, and there's new dialogue here where Rey is talking to Finn on the Falcon, and it's just, Rey says, "I don't know your name." Finn says, just Finn. And Rey says, "I'm Rey."
So this is where they're like formally introducing themselves once they've been rescued by Han and Leia.
Right. So I guess their original meeting was rushed.
Rushed by the attack.
Right.
More than likely.
So they probably, yeah. All right. And then this shot, seen before with the X-Wings flying over.
And the Knights of Ren and all the stormtroopers.
Right. Yeah, it's the same shot.
Not necessarily in that order.
All right, this is a new one. We've been seeing more of Leia lately, and this is one of the new shots with her in it. Looks like it's some resistance base with some two other officers behind her. Looks like something's going down, and she's just monitoring it all.
Yep.
Any other comments on this?
Nope.
Can't really get a good look at their face because it's focused on her, which is...
They don't look like anybody we'd know anyway.
They'll probably have a little bit of a role in the movie,
Oh, yeah.
but nothing as significant as her, obviously.
Oh, we could see 3PO's red arm.
Yep, and behind him is Poe and Leia, and I think they're still in that same planning type of room. So
it looks like a war room.
Yeah, so I'm not sure where in the movie. I feel like in the middle.
Yeah,
like
probably.
the rising action of the movie.
Middle or end.
It could be the end, yeah. Though they look
Maybe they
like
all
they're
get split
thinking.
up.
They look like they're thinking pretty hard.
Yeah.
But, yeah,
Well, they could all get split up. It could be Han and Finn and Rey going one direction with Leia, Luke, and 3PO and Chewie and R2-D2 helping defend a rebel base or something, or a rebel area where they're trying to get Finn and Rey away from. But I feel like they would take Luke along in that instance because those are both two Force-sensitive people, we think. So.
Well, I don't think Luke's in the movie yet at this point.
Well, that was my theory for if that was the end.
Oh, okay. Oh, I get you. All right.
Maybe not, though.
All right, we've seen this before. The First Order TIE Fighter using its tail guns against the X-Wing.
That explosion.
Yeah, this shot's really cool. Looks like nighttime on Jakku. BB-8 looking at an explosion, though it doesn't really look like a battle because I don't see other people around.
And he looks to be in awe of something.
Yeah, but it doesn't look like... It doesn't... The way it's moving, BB-8's moving, it doesn't look really, like,
Threatened or frightened, yeah.
Right. So, I'm not really sure what to make of this shot.
I don't either. It's kind of hard to tell. And then here's the base where we've seen this before, where we...
Dissected all the flags.
Yeah. Analyzed the crap out of it.
Yeah. Nothing new there. We've seen this before in one of the teasers. What looks to be someone handing... I think it's Leia handing them...
Luke's lightsaber.
Yeah.
Or Anakin's lightsaber, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Anakin's original... Well, not original, but Anakin's Last Jedi lightsaber.
Right.
And we've seen this before with Finn and Rey on the Falcon talking to Han in front of the star map.
Yep.
Han says a little bit of something different. Well, first Rey says there were stories about what happened, but we've heard that before. Then Han says, the Force, it's true, all of it. It's just a different version.
It's not... I think that line basically goes, the Jedi, the dark side, the Force, it's all right. Or it's all true.
Right.
Yeah.
All of it's like the last thing he says out of all
Yeah,
of the
they're
things.
just cutting lines up so we don't hear all of it.
Right, so just so it makes it more epic in a trailer. Yeah. All right, moving on. This was such a neat shot because we've never seen anything like this in a Star Wars shot before, because it's like a POV.
Yeah.
If you were standing, I don't know why you'd be on the wing, but still, it looks great.
Looks like they mounted a GoPro to the side of an X-wing kind of thing.
They built a model X-wing. So what I think they probably did is that they put a green screen in front of it. They slapped the camera on there, recorded it for a few seconds. Maybe they might have moved it around some.
They probably put it on one of those hydraulic tilts.
Yeah, hydraulics or something, because we've seen them do that with a
TIE fighter.
set of a Millennium Falcon cockpit.
They did it with a TIE fighter as well.
Okay.
As far as I know, they built a full-size TIE fighter.
Okay.
I think.
I haven't
If I remember
seen
correctly.
that,
I
actually.
saw a picture of this
I've seen
huge freaking TIE fighter.
Okay. I've seen Falcons
Maybe not.
and one X-wing. But, I mean, there might be multiple, but they probably only need one.
Well,
but
they need the blue striped one, and then they need the black one.
That's true. Yeah.
So, all right.
Yeah, I really dig this shot, actually.
Yeah, looks great.
Yeah.
All right. And then we go right into the dogfight.
Yeah, but if we switch planets in between these two.
Right, so it's not the same thing.
It's just they wanted X-Wings right beside each other.
Oh, the staff. She
Yeah.
knows there's something significant about the staff, and that makes you really, really think that is the staff that we've been thinking. Yes.
With Darth Plagueis.
Yeah, so Plagueis' staff.
Well, it's everywhere, so it's significant somehow. And, I mean, it could be something else than the staff of Darth Plagueis, but, like...
I find it hard to believe that it's not. I mean, honestly.
Well, like, it could be, like, significant some other way that's new, but we just don't know about it yet.
Yeah, that's
but
true.
it would be really. I want it to be Darth Plagueis.
Yeah, I do too.
She's running up what looks to be like the leg of a walker here. Probably
She's scared. She's running from something.
Yeah, but
and she thinks it can defend her.
Yeah, I think she knows how to like fight with it, but I just noticed that she's running up the leg of an AT-AT, so this is probably at like her camp out spot.
Yeah, maybe.
Since from some of the concept art we've seen her living, well, it looks like she like lives inside of an old AT-AT.
The
All right.
one with a foot.
Right. Seen this before. Finn igniting Anakin / Luke's lightsaber.
And yet another one defending himself with.
Right.
No, Chewbacca.
Couple new shots of Chewie just growling, and he looks like he presses a button, which they made it look like causes this next explosion.
I believe it. Like at first, I thought that Chewie caused that explosion. And I remember that we did the analyzation of the of the TIE. I'm sorry, I'm still sick. Of the TIE fighter shooting at the overhang.
If you guys didn't watch that video, what we said was in one of the teasers where we see Finn. Well, no, we don't know it's Finn, but we assume. But we see a TIE fighter shooting inside of a hangar with a bunch of stormtroopers around, and we think this is something that like it just happens to strike, which is inside the hangar, because off to the left in the corner you can kind of see TIE fighters like sitting there like as they're in a hangar, so this is kind of like a control room. So they definitely made it look like Chewie did the explosion because he pressed something like you do with a trigger, but I think it's a TIE fighter still that's doing this. It's just
clever.
Yeah,
looks cool.
Yeah.
And then this shot totally caught me off guard.
This is probably the most. I love this shot. I think this is the best one out of this trailer because of Rey's facial expressions. Like here, she looks worried, like scared, but then she sees this thing beside her, and she just looks. That is pure terror.
Yeah,
she's petrified. Like you can see the shift in her face, and it's
a great shot.
Right.
This is shortly after she's been shooting at somebody with her blasters, and all of a sudden a lightsaber is behind her.
One thing I thought about this was, okay, so she's captured, obviously, and this looks like the same planet where we see Han, Chewie, and Finn all with their hands up, captured. So maybe they got led away with stormtroopers, and he kept her here to like question her or something.
Right.
So that was just something I thought about this shot.
Cool.
Yeah, but the thing I like most here is
the pure terror.
Is her facial expressions. It says so much. Seen this before with the TIEs coming in and BB-8 looking at him. Seen this before with Poe in the X-Wing cockpit, and then we get the swarm of the
ensuing dogfight where no one gets shot down.
Yeah, surprisingly. Still like the shot though. And then it goes to black, and it comes up with
all hope has not been lost.
Right. Rey here is over this body, which we think is Chewie.
Yep.
But the more important thing here is the dialogue. Over this, who we believe is Leia, is saying, "Hope is not lost today." And then I think it goes black, and then she says, "It is found."
So yet another a new hope kind of idea.
Right.
And yet another person who is intended on destroying the Sith and saving the entire galaxy.
Right. Well, we got that at the beginning of the prequels and the beginning of the original trilogy.
So now we're going to get it
here. It's going to be, it's just going to be a different take on it.
Yeah, it's going to be like
the chosen one, and then Luke, and now either Rey or Finn or both. This also applies to the theories and speculation section of my theory that I want to talk about.
Okay.
So, and you'll see why.
Okay.
When we get there, because I haven't told him yet.
I don't even know.
Right. I wanted to be a surprise because I'll talk about later. All right. And that is pretty much the end of the trailer with that dialogue, because it then just goes to
the
Star Wars Force Awakens in Japanese. So I really like that there was more dialogue in this. You could get more out of it.
Yeah.
It wasn't as long. It's only a minute 52.
Right, because they've still got I'm sure they probably still got the spotlight of the American trailer.
Right. This one blew up though. Like
this one was all over Reddit and everywhere else.
Right, but like there's new shots, so people are gonna be all over it as we are. But yeah, I liked it.
Looks good.
It was a nice surprise because I didn't think anything else was coming.
Yeah, exactly.
But this then makes me think, what if there's other foreign trailers, like maybe like a French trailer or a German trailer, or a Russian trailer or a Chinese trailer?
It's coming.
Yeah, because that other Korean TV spot thing that we got had a new shot in it. So I don't see why there couldn't be other trailers that come out.
Hidden things.
Yeah, other trailers that come out in the future.
Yeah, but they're not stupid. They know that they go all across the internet really quick. They don't want to give away too much. Each one of them is going to be cut so much.
Yeah, they won't put too much different stuff in it. Just there's going to be a little tidbits.
Yeah, a couple little new scenes you might get a split second of for quick analyzation. But
this did give us new stuff, which I like.
All right, well, it looks good. And that was our little bit of a trailer analysis.
Yep, we'll get back to the other stuff now. Alright guys, what you just saw was our discussion about the new trailer, but you know that obviously if you're still here. So now we're going to move on to some new character posters, which also came out. So we got character posters for Han Solo, Finn, Rey, Kylo Ren, and Leia. So which one was your favorite here, Mooch?
I mean, the blue from Finn's lightsaber makes that one just look really well done.
Really well.
Honestly, I want all of them to put in my room.
Yeah.
The Leia one is okay. We can tell she looks like she's kind of playing more of the strategist role,
right?
And kind of the command structure like she had done in like episode 5 and stuff, where she was more of the tactician kind of leader because she's a princess. She's not really meant to be fighting, that kind of thing. And then we get to see Rey with that hopefully Plagueis staff.
Yeah. Staff's definitely significant, it seems.
Yeah, very. And then the Kylo Ren, obviously Kylo Ren's just always going to look really awesome. He's just a cool guy. And then
he's probably pretty evil though.
Right, exactly. And then the Finn one looks like he's kind of, ready to be the hero kind of guy.
Yeah, and I think he looks pretty badass in that.
Yeah. And then Han is just always, we see he's got his trusty blaster still, so.
I think it's different, though, with this scope thing.
It does look like it's probably for his poor eyesight because he's gotten old.
Maybe the scope's more, off to the side than his one.
Oh, well, yeah, if you look at the blaster that he carries, it's kind of like that.
Oh, so I thought it was just directly on top.
No, it's a little bit to the side. He's got a really cool gun.
Okay. Well, I think my favorite is the Finn one because it looks like there's a little bit of fire in the background. They're all really clear, though. Mm-hmm. And I like that they included Leia in this set because we haven't seen much of her.
Right.
It's really been the focus on the new characters and Han.
Right.
But then again, we don't see Poe in these at all.
Right, exactly.
So
I feel like Poe's honestly probably not going to play a huge role in the story. He'll be important, but he'll be almost like a Lando character, where he's a friend and a big part of the story, but he's not like one of the superheroes of the story. Lando has his moment later in episode 6, but when you first meet him, he's not quite the hero. Right,
that's true. So I think Poe Dameron might be analogous to what Rex was in Clone Wars.
Kind of.
Yeah.
But I don't think he'll have quite as much of a role as Rex. I think he'll be important, but he'll be more of a comparable as Lando.
Well, Lando, we'll see.
We'll find out. Obviously, the story will evolve over the course of the next 2 movies, so we'll see.
All right, let us know what you guys think about those posters, beautiful posters. Next piece of information in the news section is the Battlefront Battle of Jakku teaser.
Okay, so Battle of Jakku, we obviously knew it was coming. We know we've got more on the way. The Battle of Jakku, I rolled over early one morning and I flipped through Facebook and happened to see it, and it was breathtaking. That woke me up that morning. I love the shot of this Star Destroyer falling out of the sky, and it looks like it had been hit by an ion cannon and a bunch of blasters and a bunch of explosions, and it was being brought down by the might of the rebels. And it's just the look of sheer terror that would be under a stormtrooper's helmet during the Battle of Jakku. I want to see that. I want to see how horrified they are because their cruisers just falling out of the sky on top of them.
I got chills when I saw the Star Destroyer falling. It was a combination of the music that's building up,
right,
and just this thing's falling, and there's just a whole bunch of chaos going on. And it's also if you read Lost Stars, you can tie it in to the Battle of Jakku since it's that's like the biggest thing that's new, which is in the book.
Right.
So that's a plus for people who have read that book.
Right, and I immediately put those two and two together. I was like, wow, that's that's significant. We know that's in Lost Stars, and at the same time, it's like, I don't know, it was just breathtaking. But at the same time, it's cool that they're like keeping true to the story of what's in the comics. Like they're making sure they're keeping everything canon where they can.
Right.
But we know Battlefront obviously isn't canon, but it's just kind of meant to be the battle simulator of being able to see those battles unfold. And it's kind of cool because that happens as the battles it's evolving. The ships in the outer space are getting blown to pieces, and I think I remember vaguely somebody talking about it depending upon who is winning the battle as to which ones are falling out of the sky, but I'm not sure. I'm not for sure on that.
Well, it definitely looks like it's not there's not a winning side and a losing side. It's more evenly matched now.
Yeah.
Since it's the New Republic now is
right.
Stronger than the Rebellion, because you see Mon Calamari cruisers up in the sky.
Yeah.
But there were 3 Star Destroyers. Mm-hmm. Well, there was 2 Star Destroyers on the ground. Then there's the one coming down.
Right.
So, Rebels are obviously kicking some butt a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there were AT-ATs. I noticed a couple glitches. Well, there was one glitch where like when an explosion hits, one of the stormtroopers just like disappears, and there was another one where a TIE fighter just randomly explodes. There was no like laser fire hitting it, but I think it was all just for
effect.
For effect,
yeah. They wanted to just hype it up because I mean they've got to make it look like a battle scene straight out of the movie, and they're doing good. So it's looking great. Yeah. So DICE, keep doing what you're doing. I've done my rant on the game before. There are things that I don't like, but you're doing a very good job. So
especially in the graphics department.
Yeah, graphics department. You better be glad you have your engine because that's the only thing saving you right now.
That might be true for a lot of people that talk about the game.
Honestly, yeah, I've done my rant before, but in a nutshell, I think there's some things about the game that are fundamentally bad, but the graphics
is not one of them.
The graphics is definitely not one of them. That's one of the like super strong points of the game, and just like what they're doing with the game and how they're expanding it, making the universe feel a little more enveloping. It's great. They've done a great job with the game. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm probably not going to buy it upon release, even as much of a fan as I am. Probably going to wait until it comes down in price a little bit and get it for my new PC, just because it's not one of those titles where I'm like, honestly, I should be kicking down the door the day of, like wanting to get it, but I really don't. Specifically for the reasons I've talked about in the past. So
okay,
you should definitely go check out our other videos where we've talked a little more about Battlefront.
Right.
So we can go ahead and move on now.
All right, well, that was it for the news section. We're going to move on now to the review section. So anything that's done, so like any episodes, any movies, any comic books / books that we've read.
Right.
So the first one that will be the first one for weeks to come is the Star Wars Rebels episode this week, titled Brothers of the Broken Horn, which had everyone's favorite pirate from the Clone Wars, at least mine, Hondo Ohnaka.
Yeah.
So what are your overall thoughts on the episode?
So we haven't gotten a chance to actually talk about the episode yet. We've been disconnected for the past couple days. I got a chance to watch it really late, and seeing Hondo, I immediately knew you were going to love the episode. I knew he was coming this week. We both knew that previously. But going into it, I was like, he's going to like this episode. Hondo's here.
The guy who voices Hondo is just terrific.
It's
his
hilarious.
Mannerisms. It's like, that's a character. That is someone. That's not just a voice coming out of an animated mouth.
Right.
That's why I love Hondo, is the way he acts. He's like a lovable bad guy, but he's not all bad. He's Hondo.
Yeah, honestly, he's got his own category. I thought it was hilarious being that he, quote unquote, won the ship from a friend when he actually just jailed the friend. Spoilers, by the way.
I doubt he was a friend.
Yeah, exactly. It was a good episode. Not my favorite, but definitely not my least favorite either. I thought it was funny. Having Hondo in there was just a great way to keep the episode interesting.
Yeah, Hondo was the main plus. Because of that, I'll give it a 6. But I didn't really like some of the things that were done. Just like there was this one part where I don't know what the guy's name is. That weird red-looking fat alien dude.
Yeah,
he pushes something towards Ezra, and Ezra's using his little blaster on his lightsaber hilt, and he doesn't get out of the way. It's coming kind of slow, and he doesn't get out of the way. So Hondo pushes him like he's about to die, but it's like it doesn't seem like it should be that dramatic.
Yeah.
And at the end, like, okay, so in the beginning, Ezra takes off without telling anyone. Then at the end, they were just like, okay, good job, you got the stuff. But it seems to me like they should have like yelled at him for like not telling them, especially since they're all involved now with like the military order type of thing, especially Hera.
I feel like it would when Hondo showed up, he probably explained pretty quickly what had been going on.
It didn't even seem like he knew Ezra was going to show up, though.
No, he didn't. Not at all. He was trying to pull a pirate.
Right, but he was telling him about Ezra, so to me, that means like they should have been like freaking out, like, where is he? What happened to him?
Or he told him
that they were just standing there listening to him.
Or he told him he died.
Or they might not have believed him since he's a pirate. And he's an old guy now.
Right, he's an old fart now, so we don't know for sure, but
it was definitely entertaining, though.
Yeah, it was a good episode.
Love Hondo. He'll probably come back at least one more time.
I'd imagine.
He's heard of Lando because he believed Ezra when he said he was Lando.
I like
he
that.
just hasn't met Lando.
Right.
So I feel like they'll meet in the future.
Maybe that, or we know that. I mean, they're kind of trying to play to the idea so that you get a feel for the timeline, because Lando is supposed to be like a up and coming, like kind of not like a street hustler, but he's making a name for himself.
Yeah.
And we can see that
among everyone.
Right, among everyone.
Not just the underworld, not just the civilized world.
Right. So we know he's kind of he's coming up. So you get a feel for, Lando hasn't reached the peak of his power, I guess you could loosely call it.
Yeah. He hasn't become the facilitator of the Bespin mining facility yet.
Right, exactly. So, we'll find out. I'm not sure if we'll meet him. No, he would be up and coming. He would be like getting to that point.
Fairly certain.
Right.
Yeah. The only thing, there wasn't too much new stuff in the Rebels Recon episode that StarWars.com put out, except that, this was even in the episode, but it was clarified in the Rebels Recon video that Hondo's on his own now. He doesn't have his crew anymore.
Yeah.
Something happened with them with the Empire. They probably just cracked down on a bunch of stuff like that.
Yeah, they probably made life on smugglers a lot harder.
Because the Republic was, worried about separatists. Now the Empire, it doesn't have the rebellion to deal with yet, like full-fledged rebellion to deal with yet. But, they can put arms down. And they're all about order. So with a fist. So, makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they probably bared the brunt of the worst of it. Things, we get an idea that things have been hard on Hondo. So, more than likely the smuggling business isn't exactly what it used to be. Yeah, he's still got his comedy.
Yeah.
His humor wasn't broken, so.
That was the saving grace of this episode, in my opinion.
I think Hondo was the only reason that I watched the episode. Yeah. Honestly.
Well, I mean, I'm still watching it.
Well, we watch every one of them, but I mean, if I was to pick an episode out of the ones we've had so far, if it were to be that episode, it'd be because of Hondo.
Right.
And I will go ahead and I will give the episode a 6 out of 10 as well. It wasn't really... it wasn't a really, really good episode, but it wasn't a really terrible episode either. I mean, honestly, I would have given some of the others a lot lower.
Especially from first season?
Yeah, especially first season.
Yeah. And then next episode looks like we're getting the B-Wing. Hera flying the B-Wing, and I love the B-Wing.
That's going to be a great
That's my
episode.
favorite ship. Can't wait for that.
Right.
There was a little preview of it on Star Wars' YouTube site, YouTube channel. So if you want to go look that up, go do that.
Right.
If you don't, then don't. All right. Well, that's anything else to say about Rebels?
No.
All right. All right. Second to last thing in the review section is the 11th issue of the self-titled Star Wars comic, which is just following our main characters, Luke, Han, and Leia. And it's kind of along the same... It's during the same timeline as the Darth Vader one. But this one right now, I've really been liking it because recently it's been getting into Luke trying to... Well, the whole series, but it's getting really heavy into it now. Luke trying to figure out stuff about the Jedi. He's been trying to get to the Jedi Temple in Coruscant, so he went to Nar Shaddaa to get a smuggler to smuggle him in, but they all everyone there wants his lightsaber, and he ends up getting taken prisoner by a Hutt who collects Jedi things, relics and stuff.
Yeah.
And now she thinks, I don't know if it's a he or she Hutt, but they think they have the last Jedi, being that they have Luke. But they also run this arena where these fighters fight monsters and other. It's like Gladiator type thing.
Right.
And they put Luke in there because it's like a big show, The Last Jedi fighting, and it fights like this monster. At first I thought it was a Rancor, but then it had a long tail, but it's as big as a Rancor, so I'm not sure what it is. But and it kind of ended with that. But there's also a storyline going on with Han and Leia, in their relationship, and Han. You'd have to read the other issues, but
Yeah.
because I'm catching all this up right now, it's the first time I talk about the Star
Yeah, we
Wars
haven't really talked about this one a lot.
But the main thing is about Luke, and then I'll just say this about Han and Leia. Han has like a quote wife, but it's not really. So you have to read it. I'm not going to go too far into that just because of time, but it's really interesting.
Cool.
All right, that's it for reviews, and
now the moment we've all been waiting for. So this is the theories and speculation section.
Right, and I got one today that is I haven't seen anywhere else except for one YouTube comment. So I didn't make this up, but I thought it was brilliant because it clicked in my head.
Okay, and now also a little bit of a side note here. I haven't heard this one yet either, so the reactions you get out of me are going to be like
raw.
Raw. So go ahead and blast me.
Rey,
Mm-hmm.
right? Relation to Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Okay, explain, because that doesn't make sense.
Accent.
Okay, right.
Obi-Wan's accent. Her accent. Han and Leia don't have an accent. So why would she have an accent?
Right.
Okay, she's on a desert planet.
Right.
It kind of parallels how Obi-Wan was stuck on a desert planet.
Right.
She obviously is going to have the Force, so the Obi-Wan thing explains that.
Right.
Let's see, what else? The accent one was the big thing for me.
Okay.
I think, the dialogue from the very last part of the trailer we just talked about. It said, Leia says, all hope is not lost or something.
It's been found.
It's been found, right. And that kind of parallels what she says in episode 4 about Obi-Wan.
Being her only hope.
Saying, Obi-Wan, you're my only hope. Or, help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're my only hope. So, those two things parallel. The accent was a big one for me. The only thing that I'm not sure about is, who is the mother?
Yeah, see, that's what's catching up me.
Because, or it could be, her, Obi-Wan could be grandfather.
Well, see, my,
She just doesn't know it.
Correct. So, I like the idea, believe me. I really like it because I'm a huge Obi-Wan fan. But my thing is, we saw through the Clone Wars that that the Duchess was Obi-Wan's kind of his only lover in his entire life, and he was crushed when she was killed. So she would have had to have had the baby before that, and that couldn't have been brought out by the Jedi Order. They couldn't have found out about it, and it would have almost have been an Anakin story.
But he might not know about the kid, which would be Rey's mother or father, because Satine knew that he was in the Jedi Order. She might have kept it from him.
Right.
Because they still could have, they still could have not been a thing, but also had a child.
Right.
Within the time before the Clone Wars.
Right. Which is when he was tempted to leave the Jedi Order.
So that's
mostly because of her.
I'm pretty sure the timing lines up. But another thing I thought about is all the time that Obi-Wan has on Tatooine by himself between 3 and 4, he might have broken down one time.
Yeah.
And because Jedi Order is not really around anymore.
Yeah.
He's kind of bored and doesn't really know what to do. So, that could just be something that accidentally happened. He might not have wanted it to happen, but yeah. Any other thoughts on that?
I don't know. I mean, I just find it odd that she's on Jakku and then he was stuck on Tatooine.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a lot of time in between. It's just a theory that. I don't know. I would be okay with it if it was true because that would be brilliant. I'd love to see Obi-Wan connected to this in a bigger way than just, possibly being a Force Ghost played, I don't know by who, but...
Yeah. I don't know. It'd be cool.
Yeah.
It's definitely a cool idea.
Yeah. Again, this wasn't my idea. I just thought it was cool. From a YouTube commenter, I'll see if I can get who it was, put it in the description. I'll probably put a picture up of it if I found it. So, yeah. Let me know. Let us know what you guys think about that.
Yeah, start some discussion with us. That'd be great.
Right, and we'll talk about any questions you have. We'll talk about it next episode.
All right.
Well,
until then.
Right. Thanks for watching, and until then.
May the Force be with you.
There you go.